Okay. Is she really dead?
This is one of the best feedback ever.
Okay.
This is Survivor Talk with D&D. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm David.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And tonight is our listener feedback show for episode 6 of Survivor Caramoan, Operation Thunderdome. Now, yesterday we recorded a special Saturday chat with Scoopin'. And if you're wanting to hear that podcast, it's episode 78. It's our podcast number 78. You can go find it. If you're on Stitcher, Stitcher always plays the most recent episode. All you have to do is just go to, I think there's a little tab that says episodes.
Yeah, previous episodes.
Sometimes I had to do that with podcasts. So anyway, that's how you find it. You'll want to go listen to it. He had some really good insight that, admittedly, David, changed a lot of my thoughts about this coming episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we also want to say a couple of thank yous before we get on with our feedback. We had a new really great review on iTunes. Whoever did this review just pretty much laid out our whole schedule and everything that we do on our podcast. So now we can't change. But anyway, a really good review. Thank you very much. Reviews, and even if you just put 5 stars, it helps, So, and then also, since we've had our Amazon link up on our Facebook group and on our website for probably about a week and a half, maybe a week and 2 days, and several of you have already started using that link to shop on Amazon, and it helps our podcast. It helps support the podcast. So thank you very much. We don't know who you are when you buy stuff. We just know when you buy stuff.
So. And we also don't know what we'd do without you.
So. Yes, that is so true. So tonight we're going to do our feedback. We have 4. David's going to tell us about the CBS Teasers. We are also going to go for our fantasy pool picks for episode 7, which I do believe you will be surprised at mine, David. Mm-hmm. I have a crazy theory that is absolutely out of this world crazy. And we might shoot the breeze, not sure. Depends on if we have anything to talk about. All right. Now, David, is your blog going to be online tomorrow?
Sometime. I should probably start writing it. Yeah.
Well, you've been pretty busy this week with production and everything, so.
Yeah. It'll be on tomorrow. If not, hopefully it'll be on by lunchtime. Depends on when I get it to you.
So when you do one that's this late in the week, that's this far out from the episode, do you tend to focus more on what you think might happen as opposed to what did happen? Or are you still going to focus on what did happen?
No, it's more towards the transition of that episode to the next episode. What I think we're going to see, what I think people should look for, stuff like that.
Okay, good. I like that idea. I like going in that direction. Mm-hmm. So,
you got any ideas I can do?
No. Hey, maybe you will glean from my crazy theory this week. Maybe that will inspire you.
Okay.
All right. So that's towards the end. So, of course, you'll find David's blog every week on our website at www.survivortalkwithdnd.com. And that's where you'll find a link to our latest episode. You'll find our Amazon links. You'll find iTunes links, Stitcher links, our fantasy pool. Everything that you could possibly want is on that website. Even links to our Facebook group, which, if you're not a part of our Facebook group, become a part, because we had a really fun week this week.
It's funny because we have weeks where you're not there, but sparingly, and I'm there a lot, and then I'm not there a lot, and you're there a lot. So it works out kind of neat that one of us is almost always there.
Well, this week a particular thread caught me at lunchtime, and then it kind of went over past lunch, and then I was like, okay, I got to stop because I've got work to do. So I stopped and got back to my work.
and the threads on our Survivor Facebook page don't always go about Survivor. They can cover a wide gamut of things.
They usually start about Survivor.
Yeah.
And then they have a lot of fun. All right. You ready to get to our feedback?
Sure.
I am ready. First on our list for feedback is Enrico from the Philippines.
We're going to tag team this once it gets going.
All right.
But I'm going to start. Hello, Dwayne and David. Episode 6 finally drops the drama and gives decent focus on the strategy. It was generally an okay episode. Nothing that much explosive, but as David pointed out, this may just be a transition or a setting of the stage for Act 2. Time to get things going for the final 14. Number 1, Brenda. While Eric and Julia finally had new confessionals this episode, I think Brenda has beaten Carter in the number of consecutive episodes without a confessional, bordering Purple Kelly levels. My only consolation is that she probably goes really deep in the game. Boy, I hope so. Serenity may have been playing under the radar since she promised to show good Brenda in the pregame and play differently. But if she goes by her previous Nicaragua stint, she could find the new Sash, Marty, and Chase in Eric, Reynolds, and Eddie. Then again, I want to see Bad Brenda really soon. And, I think we learned last season that you can't, obviously, you got to play to the edit, but we didn't see a lot of what Scoopin was doing. And I use him because he tells us a lot of what he was doing. Right. So we didn't really see all of his game, and I'm hoping we're not seeing all of Brenda's game. I'm hoping that her game's going to start coming out.
Yeah. Number 2, Eric. He still strikes me as one of the more observant players this season, fitting his role as the silent one. Well, if he couldn't be part of the 6-person alliance, the new Go to 7 could very well be Strength R Us. I do wonder if the reward challenge was actually done but not aired. That it went something like the Wicker Ball last season, except the opposite happened and there was an agreement to split the reward instead. Do you want to address that?
Well, just that we had intel from someone that was there, which I can't express who, obviously, but it never was used, which I'm completely confused as to why they showed that great aerial shot of that challenge.
Yeah.
That just really surprised me, but obviously it didn't work into the plans. And I don't know if it was after the egg toss or what, that Probst just said, let's just give him food and send him home.
Yeah.
So, number 3, Malcolm. The enforcer has forgotten how easily he has been dumped by Lisa, Scoopin, and Denise in the past season. So I don't see how he could say he is a good liar unless he was lying to himself.
I thought of that too when he said that.
Yeah. He must find out quickly who does the laundry in New Goda to protect his idol. And something tells me his conversation with Reynolds next episode is like Malcolm and Pete Bromance 2.0 when he joined Tandang. Now, in Malcolm's defense, I don't think he realized how much he got played by Lisa, Scoopin, and Denise because he never saw that season until after he was already doing this season.
Right.
So he doesn't know all the insides and outs of how that season went, except for his side of the story.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't a very accomplished liar to Denise, but maybe Denise doesn't qualify as the type of women he usually lies to.
Yeah, she's a winner. So. Oh, no, I didn't mean
we're going to just move on.
Okay.
By the way, I think Reynolds tells Malcolm, which actually I think that's revealed that Reynolds tells Malcolm.
Yeah.
But anyway, whether it is or not, I think Reynolds is telling Malcolm that he has the idol. I don't think Malcolm is telling Reynolds.
Completely agree. That would fit into Reynolds' plan of attack that he's shown so far.
Yep. Number 4, Dawn. She's been playing the Phillip game all along, which is not surprising. She and Cochran are one of the 4 power couples who successfully crossed over to Act 2 in this very uncreative and unbalanced tribal shakeup. The other 3 being the Cool Kids, the M&Ms, and to some extent, Brendrick. The randomness of this egg-smashing method doesn't sit well with me, reminding me of the All-Stars and One World fiascos. I definitely agree that at this point it should have been a schoolyard pick'em, like what was done in Nicaragua and Gabon. It was also done last season. They just didn't show it.
Yeah.
And yes, we agree.
Let's see. Cochran, number 5. Self-deprecating as usual. I think it is time for him to shine now that we have fewer over-the-top characters. I think he will, actually. I think he's going to start coming out more. He readily gave up physical strength in booting out Matt, probably because in doing so he keeps one weaker player below himself. That's a good point. Aside from having the numbers anyway, and a very strong alliance. I think that's the main reason he let Matt go was his alliance.
Yeah.
They're already down in physicality for challenges. Why worry about keeping muscle?
Right. Well, yeah, and I like we said before, I don't know if we said it in the recap or just in our normal discussion that we didn't record. It makes sense to go ahead and get rid of strength because you're not going to win anyway, and you just need to think merge.
Right.
You're probably not going to win a challenge before the merge, so break up a team.
That's one thing when you're talking about scooping, and we talked to him Saturday. He reminds us, like every time we talk to him, that by looking at what the edit tells you to look at, that's not what you need to be looking at. You need to be looking 2 steps past, 3 steps past, and Cochran's thinking, who do we not want to go to the merge so they don't win a challenge? And Matt's one of those people.
Right. Number 6, Eddie. Sorry, but I'm going to have to go with either Dawn or Brenda as my pick to win. He might still be final 3, but I doubt if he'll get any votes if his constant argument is that he's with good-looking people. I don't see Eddie winning.
I don't like my Eddie pick anymore either. But anyway. Number 7, Renaud. My message to him, until he starts playing Real Survivor, I'm calling him Renaud.
Renaud.
My message to Renaud. Stop tripping over the idols. Anyway, my message to him, you better be so darn lucky to find more immunity idols the next time Goda goes to Tribal Council, because frankly, selling out another castaway, even if he or she is not part of your alliance, to new people on the tribe is stupid strategy, and it shows how vulnerable you are. Completely agree. That's just, wow.
All right, number 8, Sherry. Now that the GOAT A strategy no longer applies, she might be in big trouble in being a weak person in challenges as well as being outnumbered. But she only has to remember how the, quote, Black Widow Brigade, unquote, happened in Micronesia. Natalie and Alexis hooked up with Poverty, Suri, and Amanda.
All right, so if the sun explodes and the moon falls and Goda loses a challenge, I'd be interesting to see if they follow the same procedure as Bacall and vote out Reynolds or Eddie and keep Sherry because she's not a threat and she's already gotten in kind of with some of the women.
I think they would, because if they're thinking merge, they don't want Reynolds or Eddie in the merge.
Exactly.
Because they'll win individual immunities.
That would be, that won't happen because I don't think Goda's going to lose anything, but that would be neat to see if they did the same pattern. That'd be really smart for the favorites. Number 9, Andrea, or as Philip likes to say, Andrea. Now that Corinne is out of her peripheral vision and she has Malcolm to herself, would her strategy change? It seems that they'll vote out the fans anyway, and she's not necessarily giving them any hope outside of winning challenges. And her dream sequence reminds me of Kat in One World, where she got killed by Alicia. Look at how that turned out. Now, I think that was foretelling of Andrea orchestrating Malcolm's exit of the game. I think they're setting us up for that.
All right. Number 10, Michael. Having just lost his main alliance and being on the wrong side of the numbers, I believe his days are numbered and would be very lucky if he gets into the merge to gain a little more legroom. If anything, all 3 Mikes from seasons 22, 24, and 25 have made the merge. So at least he has that and an odd couple with Corinne. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I hadn't thought about that about Mike's merge. If he's smart, he'll target her first, since he has her trust, and such a move will make him gain Philip's trust.
Yep. Number 11, Julia. Boring. And why target Dawn without any follow-through? I recall in her pregame interview, she said she is good in turning aggression on and off. Well, I'd like to see her turn that on now.
Yep, agreed. Number 12, Corinne. She is in the opposite side of the spectrum in that she has finally shown her snarky side, but getting lots of airtime the past 3 episodes and getting the focus on the previously segments makes me wary of her future in the game.
Number 13 is Philippe, or Philip to everyone else.
Philippe the specialist.
What was he thinking in recruiting Julia? Now, Enrico, if you haven't listened to Scoopin's talk with us on Saturday, you really ought to listen.
Yes.
This is why we like to talk to the guy that's been there.
Yeah, because now I completely understand.
Yep.
And agree.
He doesn't need a flipper since they already have the numbers, and that dolphin's still probably in the water. Is he playing for jury votes? Maybe, but in the process, he may have lost the favorites' votes in the process, assuming he had them in the first place anyways. In his interview with Matt and Michael, he counts 6 members of Stealth R Us, meaning he probably never considered Serenity and the Silent One to be official members. Finally, the immunity challenge reminded me of James and Stephanie in Heroes vs. Villains, Episode 2, also known as One Voice Dispute. I thought it would happen again with Philip and Julia, but all we got was, wasn't I supposed to be 6? But McCall was pathetic from the get-go anyway, so there's really no argument. True.
Yep. All right. So we're just going to not address the recruiting Julia comment and just say listen to our chat with Scoopin, because it gets talked about a lot. Number 14, Matt. I've grown really fond of him, and he seems to be a really nice guy who exceeded my initial assessment that he'd never be able to fit in. Great to hear that he got more than one alliance going early on in Goda, but I'm not really sure if I want to see him play again, because I'd expect something new from him, and he might do something crazy. I hope not. He and Michael practically had their votes for sale in the last tribal council. They may have thought there could be someone needing their numbers who's outside of the main alliance, but sometimes the bonds are too strong. It's like Christina giving up on breaking into Kim, Sabrina, Chelsea's alliance. Overall, I was sad to see him go. At least his beard never caught in the fire or in the challenges, so he still has that. Holy Week is quite an important holiday here in Catholic Philippines, so I'm not sure if I'd be able to send in feedback next week. I'm not even sure if it will be shown in local TV, since most stations will be airing their Lenten specials or none at all. Nevertheless, have a good week ahead for both of you guys and all the listeners. Enrico from the Philippines.
Thank you, Enrico.
Thank you as normal. All right, next we have Wendy from South Dakota.
Hi, David, Dwaine, and all my Survivor friends. This is Wendy from South Dakota. Don't have a whole lot to say about this week's episode. I was disappointed that Matt went home. I was really starting to like the guy. He just was such a likable guy. And Julia is just almost invisible and not any help at all in challenges. But I guess they figure it doesn't matter who they send home as long as it's not one of the favorites. So I also didn't like the way that they did the mix-up. It wasn't very fair to the fans. It's almost like they're trying to skew it towards one of the favorites winning, which I don't like when they mess with the game. I like it when they just let it become its own being and have its own character. I hope this doesn't wreck Dwayne's crazy theory, but I have a bit of a crazy theory of my own that I honestly hope doesn't come true. And Katja, please don't get upset with me about this, but Malcolm, when he said something about there's going to be a lot of shocked faces at tribal tonight, or he didn't say tribal, but he just said there's going to be a lot of shocked faces tonight. So that leads me to believe that something's going to happen and Team Hair happens to lose the immunity challenge. So this is my guess, that Malcolm has promised Eddie and Reynold that he's going to team up with them, but he's not really going to team up with them. He's just telling them that. And Eddie and Reynold have been lied to so much already in this game that they go to tribal council. All the favorites plus Sherry vote for Reynold, and Reynold plays his hidden immunity idol and votes for Malcolm, and Malcolm ends up going home. I hope that doesn't happen, but every time they show someone saying something like that, it seems like it ends up turning against them. I hope that's not the case. I'd like to see Team Hair stay intact. Still loving this season, still enjoying every episode, and even more so, I'm enjoying the banter that we all have on Facebook. It's so much fun chatting with Mike in Cleveland, and Lou, and Katja, and David, and Dwayne, and it's just a lot of fun. I sure enjoy it. Veronica, enjoy talking with you too. Y'all take care. Bye.
Excellent feedback as usual.
And a nice plug for our Facebook page.
Yes. So what do you have? Do you have anything to say about her feedback, David?
I think she's given Reynold way too much strategic credit.
Yeah.
But I think because we've become such trained edit readers and decipherers, and we wear our Survivor filters, I think they're...
Wait. You are kidding, right? Tongue is in cheek, correct?
A little bit, but still,
okay.
I think that the Malcolm premise that's in the teaser could be a multiple episode build up. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen this week because I still don't think McCall is going to win.
Right.
I do think he's going to, allow Reynolds to think he's in, and probably Eddie. But I think this is the reason. This is the reason that I'm not a big fan now of complete rookies against complete favorites. Yeah. Because, like Scoopin said, they're just Malcolm and Eric are thinking ahead. To me, they're planning ahead, and they're just looking for a chance to burn Reynolds and Eddie. Neither one of them want those guys in the merge. Right. But Reynolds and Eddie just aren't seeing that. He even pointed out that the fans weren't even expecting a shuffle. They weren't even expecting that. They were just glad that one player was gone. The other team had a player gone. They were just ready to go do a challenge. Right. Like, none of them were thinking the shuffle. So, I hate to say it, but I feel like Sherry might be expecting something. She's the one that said, I didn't tell him everything. Right. But I just don't think Reynolds and Eddie are thinking that these guys could lie to us as well. These guys are favorites. Right. They wouldn't lie like Matt and Michael.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I remember Matt saying on an interview that he had no idea that the shuffle was coming, that he was totally surprised by it.
Yeah.
And yet Matt's a fan, so that kind of surprises me. But all it does is show that they weren't thinking.
Right.
Just like you just said. I was just proving your point or whatever. All right, next we have Mike in Cleveland. And I'm going to be reading Mike in Cleveland's.
Dun, dun, dun.
And commenting quite a bit. All right? I like you, Mike, but you've irritated me a little bit.
Well, he was in a good mood when he wrote this because the Buckeyes won. So.
Yeah, and he's probably thrilled to hear that he irritated me a little bit. Hi, guys. First, excuse me as I ensure the soapbox I'm about to stand on has a strong foundation. Okay, that done, I would like to decree that Dwayne Stroud is no longer allowed to claim that he has decided to just sit back and watch Philip with no prejudices. I never said I wasn't going to have prejudices. I said I was going to just enjoy it. And to be honest with you, there was a couple times in the last episode that I had to remind myself that I was just going to enjoy Philip and not get annoyed by him. There were several times that happened. So. He has clearly judged and convicted Philip, and his credibility as an objective analyst is being severely damaged. Dwayne's attempt to assign... Okay, this is where I take issue. This next sentence.
Just this one? Okay.
No, but Dwayne's attempt to assign Philip any blame for Brandon's meltdown last week could be chalked up as an off day. Now, before I finish the sentence, I never, ever said Philip was to blame for Brandon's meltdown. That is far from what I said.
I think we both kind of agreed that Philip just happened to be the unlucky victim that Brandon decided to go off on. Now, if you want to blame Philip, then you can blame him for being the last one in the challenge.
Yes.
That's what you blame Philip for.
I never said Philip had any blame for what Brandon did. I did say that I thought Philip, at the very last minute, after hours and hours and days of being the guy above board or the guy taking the high road, took the low road for a little bit of time. That's all I said. All right. Chalked up as an off day, but the total misread of this week's episode is troubling. Corinne had a horrible week. The David Jones Survivor Rules, DJSR, clearly states, never alienate your tribe mates, whether you think you need them or not. Her attitude toward talking to the fans because she doesn't need them is simply short-sighted. The DJSR also states, don't put a target on your back. While I was not offended at all by her repeated "me and my gays" comments, because I seriously doubt there was any malicious intent behind them, what does she think her 3 other favorite tribe mates actually heard? I think they heard the makings of a plan that doesn't include them. And what does Scoopin say about fear? This thought that Corinne will outlast both Philip and Andrea really looks like a pipe dream. Mike, I agree with you there.
Yeah, it sounds like the old Corinne, like Scoopin said, is coming out.
Yes.
And she's saying some things she might not want to have said out loud.
This is where our conversation with Scoopin yesterday, on Saturday, changed my mind about Corinne outlasting Andrea and Philip.
And I like him pointing out the DJSR rules. Very, very smart to use. Especially the first one, never alienate your tribe mates. I mean, even if you know she's the first gone, something could happen. You know, I mean, she was good that she confessed about Julia in her confessionals, which is where you confess confessionals.
Right.
But she who knows how she acted around camp, and she obviously got along with Mike. She made that very clear, and she may have been the one ignoring Julia, but Philip didn't. I really credit Philip, like Scoopin said, that was a pretty smart idea, just in case you need her. You don't want to have to need her within 2 hours of tribal council.
Right.
You want to start that 24 hours ahead.
Right. Well, that, and if this week they lose and there's this big debate of are they going to get rid of Corinne or Philip because they have the numbers, it's best to have already talked to Julia than to be doing it out of desperation.
Exactly. He maybe he senses that, and maybe he knows he might need that vote. Maybe he senses conflict with Corinne.
Right. All right, he goes on. Oh, by the way, David, do you have these rules posted somewhere?
I think I've put a couple posts of them on previous blogs, yeah.
Well, why don't you include them on the blog this week on our website?
Okay, I just have to go back and find them, but yeah, I can do that.
Well, they obviously found them.
He read them. Yeah.
They're somewhere out there.
Yeah. That was like the first
You're
season
like,
we did it.
you don't even remember them, do you?
It sounds good, though.
You're like, hey, Mike, can you go ahead and email me those rules?
Yeah, really.
The DJSR also states, returning players must tweak their game to win, and a keen viewer should look for those tweaks. Apparently, neither Dwaine, Katja, or Veronica read this rule. From Dwayne's comments, Katja's blog, and Veronica's post, I see 3 people that are still judging Philip 1.0, not the Philip 2.0 who is playing in the Philippines. As it was with me when it came to Penner, the odds are in your favor, Philip. The odds are in your favor. Philip will eventually lose, and y'all will feel vindicated, but not for the right reasons. Okay, I agree with you in that in the recap show, I was probably doing more Philip 1.0, but again, after speaking with Scoopin, I have changed my idea about how Philip handled the Julia incident and the Mike and Matt incident.
I think we all expected a little bit of Philip 1.0, maybe 1.5, but I agree he's definitely playing a different game. But if he's trying to play like Boston Rob, like we talked about with Scoopin, he doesn't have the people to do that with. He's got much smarter. He's playing with the favorites, with experienced players, and that's not going to work. So he should be coming up with a different game, and maybe he is. I think he's doing a little bit of old and a little bit of new.
Right. So what Mike is saying is that Philip won't make it to the end, and he will get voted off. But it won't because he's playing. It won't be because he's playing Philip 1.0.
Right.
It'll be for other reasons. It'll be because other players just outsmarted him or outplayed him.
Right.
And yeah. So, all right. Good point. Hey, but don't feel bad. Even David botches the rule sometimes. For example, DJSR1A clearly states. Where did he get these rules, David? You have them posted somewhere.
Yeah, they're in the blogs. I have to go back and read them again.
DJSR1A clearly states, it's always about the numbers. Yet, strangely, he thought this tribe swap was a good idea. Putting 4 favorites and 3 fans on each tribe being bad for all the fans. Wow, who could see that coming?
All right, now I'm going to take a little moment for this because this is not what I said. I did not want a egg drop swap. I wanted a shuffle. Whether it was a schoolyard pick or what, I really wanted a random draw because it is about the numbers, and the only chance the fans had would have been to draw rocks or draw something, draw colored rocks out of bags. That's the only chance they had, was to get numbers on their side. But you're exactly right. This egg drop smash color thing was horrible, especially the fact that he had 4 bowls. There was no way the fans were going to come out this in any good light.
Right.
So you are exactly right, Mike. This was not a great shuffle, but this is not the droid you're looking for. This is not the shuffle I was talking about.
Right, and I don't like the fact that CBS purposefully, the way I saw it, they purposefully made it 4-3-4-3.
Why couldn't it have been one bag? Even if it's right, exactly. They orchestrated it. They orchestrated it so that it came out the way it was.
Yep. All right, he continues. It's interesting that while both Malcolm and Corinne's edit look negative, It is interesting that while both Malcolm and Corinne's edit took negative turns this week on separate tribes, both Andrea and Philip look stronger. A little foreshadowing? Possibly so.
Mm-hmm.
And one last thing. That they should have kept Matt for tribe strength is crazy. They have one job, and that was to flush the idol. Just like now, Oh, just like now that they know the idol is not in their tribe, they should lose all immunity challenges until the merge to protect their numbers in the other tribe. Keep up the good work, Mike in Cleveland.
Sounds like Mike has been listening to the rules and scooping, because that's exactly what he was talking about.
Right, and I believe we even talked about that in our recap. Once we kind of got past but he was good, we kind of got to the point of, yeah, but they're going to lose anyway, so they need to be thinking merge.
Right.
They need to be thinking ahead.
Right.
So, all right, Mike in Cleveland, we always enjoy your feedback. And so now we're going to move on to Lou from New York.
All right, I'm going to read this, and he's going to delve into the world of opera, which the only thing I know about opera is The Phantom, and that Gerard Butler, Jason Patrick, and Emma Watson were in the movie. That's all I know about the opera.
All right.
Although I did see The Tempest many years ago and thought it was really good. Number 1. Looks like Michael and Julia are most likely to go on the next 2 votes. Time to start thinking jury. And where our listeners are getting smarter and smarter and smarter, because that's exactly what we've been told. Who's really not going to want to bring the specialist to the end on the faves? Are the fans aware that the jury could favor the favorites, or will the fans outnumber the faves on the jury? Philip may be the only one thinking long-term at this point, bringing in Julia. This season has the potential of being among the best. Very interesting.
Good point.
Number 2. How long will it take for Eddie to realize that Rome is burning all around him? That's kind of funny since he's a fireman.
Yes.
That he can't see the fire. It's fire prevention week for him, or will he hit the snooze button on the fire alarm? Knowledge is power. Could he get farther by outing Reynolds' idol? But who should he tell? Sherry? Or will she fan the flames, blowing up any chances of the fans bonding? At this point, how the heck can this firefighter save even his own life?
All right,
number 3. In response to the Scoopin' interview, great, by the way. Hi, Mike. Can you hear me? About the shuffle, it was carefully contrived/conceived, which is probably better than random picking, but bad luck for the new Bacall tribe. Yet probably good luck for Dawn and Cochran, the real Stealth R Us duo, or should I call them moles? I still think random picking would have been better. Would have been more unpredictable. Once we saw the 2 or 4 bowls, we all, I think, kind of knew it was going to be a hard case shuffle.
Right.
Here's my thought. Mike, just a rough draft. An egg hunt, or maybe call it, how do you like them eggs? Hide the Easter eggs for the players to find. Right now, it's a half-boiled idea, but imagine watching the players scramble around looking. So many variables. For example, a player could find more than one, give them out strategically, of course, or trade, beg, make deals, or frickin' poach them. Perhaps never knowing what color is inside. It could work. I'll work out the details later. What do you think, Mike Scoopin'? Love to hear your thoughts. That would be interesting to have an Easter egg hunt.
Yes, I thought that was kind of funny.
Or even give all the eggs to one person
Yes.
and have them hand out the eggs.
Yes.
That would be neat.
Now, Scoopin doesn't normally listen to our listener feedback show, but what I'll do is I will tweet him and tell him that you have a question for him and tell him what time code it is, and he'll probably answer it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Number 4. What's up with Julia voting Dawn? Where the blank did that come from? Is it the gas fumes from the front runners? That's a good question. I don't like to know why she picked Dawn, but maybe she thought she was going to win. But...
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
Number 5. The following may be enough to ban me from the podcast. Read on if you dare.
Boy, I had no idea what to expect when he wrote that.
Yeah. Survivor is religion to some, and to others, it's opera. All right, here we go. Let's see.
David, so you're like, oh my gosh, why am I reading this?
Give me something with movies in it or something.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I'll try it.
Okay.
They might get a better laugh if I mess it up.
Yeah.
As we read from the book Survivor, according to Lou, book 26, chapter 6. According to David Jones, that's me, the curtain goes up on Act 2 of this opera buffa. Let's assess the cast of characters and properly name them according to their true roles. If you all don't know opera, you're about to get an education.
Or maybe not. Depends on how it depends on how much we blotch this thing.
Right. The diva role. We have
No, you skipped a whole
okay.
paragraph because you didn't
I
want to
did?
have to say Pagliacci.
Oh.
You saw Pagliacci and thought, ain't no way I'm trying to say that. Go ahead.
No, they're all running together. Let's see. So who's up for the role of Pagliacci? Worn and tattooed Brandon and Shamar, not to mention Matt, are gone. Both clearly aren't even wrapping too tightly. This role is special, especially for a specialist. It's Philip's greatest moment of humiliation as he sings Vesti la Giuba. Is that right? I didn't read this paragraph. You told me to read it ahead, and I didn't read this paragraph. So I'm going to move on since you're probably too choked up to correct me. Put on the costume. No longer able to hide his true self in his pink clown costume. Also, it's a clown. How do you... Is that... Did I pronounce it right?
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh.
So is Lou. Right now, he's crying on the floor.
Just move on.
He's going, Dwayne, why did you let the non-opera person read the opera?
I'm not an opera person. What are you talking about?
You know more than I do.
All right, go on.
All right. The diva role? We have Andrea, Brenda, Julia, and Dawn. Who can hit those high notes like a true diva? Dawn, Mamma Mia, of course. Visions of bread baking in her oven are in her sights. Andrea and Brenda have no dough of their own, but both really need those Gouda stallions. Julia forsaken for by the Bacall, Gouda, bloggers, podcasters, fans, and the Beatles. Julia is in the back of the pack, spinning her wheels and wildly dreaming of pulling out a lead role like Christine in Phantom.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. Not an opera, but she's got to start somewhere. That's not an opera?
No.
So the one thing I know about opera is not an opera.
It's a Broadway play about an opera house. And opera, it's based around opera. The
Okay.
Phantom, you know.
Now, to make a normal comment about this operatic paragraph, I think Julia, if she plays her cards right, could be a swing vote down the road. Yeah. I mean, if she can stay in there long enough and keep following along, you know, I mean, they keep bringing her name up, but then they keep knocking it down for somebody else. So, and if Corinne or Philip goes this week, that she could be the quiet one. So, stop it.
No, I was thinking I almost sang a song from Phantom, but decided not to. Go ahead.
I almost did too. The one where all the owners of the thing are in the
Yes.
I like that song. Anyway, leading male role. Malcolm gets the X for the role of Pinkerton of Madame Butterfly. Kiss the girls, lie, and make them cry. A no-no. He's the one to fear. Eric, no voice, so not fit for opera. Can't dance, so no good for Broadway as well. Oh, but he can run and jump, but he can't hide. Haha. He is Spider-Man. Ta-da! Now that one didn't do so well, did it? That kind of flopped, I thought.
What?
Spider-Man opera. Or Spider-Man Broadway, whatever it was.
I didn't even know it ever was on. Okay, Go ahead.
Dedicated to doing good, and that's no good for his lasting power. But he'll be dangling for a while until the truth sets him free. Reynolds gets a singing role? No way. Can't even unwrap his way out of a paper bag. Whatever did he do with the money for lessons his parents gave him? His best shot was the high school cool kids annual play. He's sinking slowly in the swampland he's selling. But he cuts a break in an encore performance as the matinee idol in local production of Little Shop of Horrors.
Little shop of horrors, little shop.
That's an opera? That was a movie. I guess it is an
It was
opera.
a movie based on
Okay.
You know that a lot of the movies
Come on. Steve Martin, Rick Moranis, come on.
A lot of the movies that you like so much, maybe not a lot of them, but are based on Broadway plays or...
Yes, I knew that. Chicago and Moulin Rouge and all that kind of stuff.
Chicago.
I did like Moulin Rouge.
He had it
really
coming. I love that song. All right, go ahead.
Eddie is a special guy, but not special enough as our specialist. Pagliacci. However, I bet he did that on purpose. However, his talent could be on fire as an acrobat flipper like LeFou in Beauty and the Beast. Stop it. And sing like a canary, outing Reynolds. That could be, I'm saying this, that could be Eddie's calling card if he figures that out. But I think Reynolds is going to out himself. So, like Reynolds, it's not an opera role, but he doesn't know that, so don't tell him. like Reynolds. Right, Reynolds? Michael, we all love him. Not yet fit for the princely role. Always ends up with the short end of the stick. He's perfect in the role Queen of Spades for 3 more days. Then he goes back to Woodshed, practicing the low notes in the men's course dressing room in hopes of being Rodolfo in La Boheme. Dawn, a surprise to us all. You are La Boheme's and are Mimi, stealthily coughing, gasping and spinning out of control, dying a slow death from the beginning of the second act. But my heart is racing as she succumbs to the challenges and dies gasping in the arms of, who else? Cochrane, who easily gets the part he was born to play, Rodolfo, the painter in La Boheme. I had no freaking idea he was a tenor and a specialist at hitting those high notes in concert with Dawn at his feet center stage. But is it just all an act by her? Is she really dead? Now, this sounds like Romeo and Juliet. This doesn't sound like... I don't know La Boheme, so anyway. So Cochrane kills himself, and then Dawn comes back awake and wins the game. No, sorry. Okay. Is she really dead?
This is one of the best feedback ever.
Okay. I said the Romeo and Juliet. That wasn't part of his thing.
No, it wasn't.
But is it just all an act by her? Is she really dead? Cochrane shuns off Corinne, truly a tragic character, tapped for the role of Musetta by the maestro who surprisingly ain't a gay. She can't hit the high notes and shows us what she's trying to do. Anyway, at the final curtain, in true operatic style, everyone dies except one left standing whose heart is broken because he killed her, his only love. Well, of course, this game's not over until the thin lady, Sherry, screams for mercy. Can this Brunhilde in her full costume turn the wine into water? La commedia è finita. The play is over. Dawn, take your blank bread out of the oven and fade to dark. Does any of this make any sense to you? Of course not. It's Survivor. My head is killing me, as is my throat, Lou. Thank you very much. Gotta run. Regrets, Lou.
That was awesome. What made it even more awesome was you reading it.
I know. We got on this tonight. I said, Dwaine, are you mad at me for something?
Oh, you don't know how much I had to put the mute button on. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't even know what to say about that. That was just fun.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
You know, I get to meet Lou in the summer. Our family's
Because you're going to New York?
Our family's going to New York. And
to see what?
Well, to see New York. New York.
Oh, aren't you going to see a opera?
Yeah, we are going to go
something?
see Phantom. Yeah.
But that's a Broadway musical. That's not an opera.
We're not going to go see an opera. We're going to go see a Broadway show. And we're going to go see Phantom, and I'm going to put tape over Nathan's mouth so he doesn't sing the entire thing.
Oh boy!
But anyway,
Good
looking forward to meeting you, Lou, whenever we go to New York. Maybe you can tell me some good restaurants to eat at. All right, that is our feedback for tonight, and it is now time for our CBS Express teasers. So here we go.
The title for episode 7 is Tubby Lunchbox. Now, who do you think that's about? I think it's about Philip. I think somebody is making a joke, and it's probably Corinne. Probably
that does sound like a Corinne line, yes.
Or Julia. No, that's right. Julia doesn't talk, so maybe it was Corinne.
Yeah.
Okay. As the newly formed Bacall tribe continues to struggle physically in challenges, they grow increasingly tired of Philip's attitude. Meanwhile, over at the Goda tribe, Reynolds shares confidential information about his hidden immunity idol that could change his game.
Well, there you go, Reynolds. It tells us right there.
Right.
But does that really surprise anybody? That Reynolds tells Malcolm?
Can I answer?
Well, you're
no.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
All right. I don't really get anything else from that. Well, other than the Bacall tribe continues to struggle, I don't see them winning.
Why is that that's not a tease. That's kind of common knowledge at this point.
All right. It's time for our fantasy picks for episode 7. I am ready to tell you who I picked to do what.
All right, then tell me the answer to the first bonus question, which is, which tribe wins immunity? Would you like me to give you the tribe names?
Oh, man.
The choices are Gota, Bacall, neither tribe wins immunity, or both tribes win immunity.
Okay, so where were these options for the reward challenge last week? when we needed a neither tribe wins reward.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Great point, Dwayne. Good catch.
Thank you. I'm saying that Gota wins immunity.
Well, I am going with Gota. Yes.
All right.
Then, question number 2. How many votes does the eliminated player receive? 4 or fewer, 5, 6, or 7 or more? And this is one of those questions I kind of hate because it's like what is the answer? A, B, C, A and B, B and C, right. None of the above, right. All of the above.
Yes. This
is one of those questions that you're kind of throwing out there.
Yeah.
So
I picked 5.
I picked 4 or fewer because I think if Bacall goes, there's only 6 people. Mm-hmm. And I think 2 people are not going to know what's going on. And I think 4 people will.
All right. That's a good point. Possibly. We'll see. All right. Who'd you put your points on?
Well, because I think Bacall's going, I think it's going to be Corinne or maybe Julia. I think Philip is going to sway Dawn and Cochran. And Julia and Michael is going to vote with Corinne, and that's why it's going to be 4-2 and Corinne goes home. So I'm putting 15 on Corinne, but still 5 on Julia. I don't think Michael's going home yet. I really hope he doesn't because he seems like he's really aware of what's going on in the game.
All right. I put all 20 points on, do you want to guess?
Corinne.
Yes.
I knew it.
All 20 points on Corinne. And I don't want to see her go either.
No,
it's really annoying. All these people I don't want to go are going.
I think Mr. Non-Spoiler Scoopin', who doesn't talk to people and doesn't want any spoilers, I think he accidentally leaned us towards thinking Corinne is going to go because old Corinne is coming out. You know, I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. I'm just saying the fact that he pointed out that the old Corinne is playing could start to lead to her being voted out of the game.
Well, what turned me was when he talked about how it was smart that Philip talked to Julia and Matt and Michael. Realizing that this past week they couldn't afford to vote one of each other out because they would have been tied 3-3. But this week it's 4-2, and they can afford to vote out one of each other. The Faves can. And Philip's going to be going after Corinne, and Corinne's going to be going after Philip. And Philip will have already established relationships with Julia, a person to whom Corinne has established no relationship, and he's also established a relationship with Michael. However, Corinne also has established a relationship with Michael.
But I think Michael is a smart enough player. I completely feel he is a player and not a recruit. And I think he will be smart enough to possibly go to Dawn or Cochran and say, who should I vote for?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to put all my eggs in Corinne's basket because I have a feeling that not everybody is going to be keeping her around.
Right. Ultimately,
I think he's not going to be as tied to Corinne as Corinne wants to be to him.
Okay. I think Dawn and Cochran will be the deciding factor.
Right. We said that on Saturday. Yeah. We agreed. Both agreed on that.
They'll be the ones. All right. Are you ready for my crazy theory?
Do you have to say a lot of big words that you've never seen before and stuff?
No, because I write my own crazy theories. So I don't have to, read somebody else's words.
Go for it.
Are you ready? Go get yourself a cup of coffee.
I got my water right here.
All right. Here it is. Bacall wins the reward challenge.
I was trying to take a drink of water. It's probably good I had it on mute for a second because I spit half of it back into the cup.
That's it. Bacall wins.
I can't drink now. That is probably the best crazy theory you've ever had.
There ain't no way in the world that could possibly happen. Therefore, it is my crazy theory. And now you want me to tell you how I think it happens? I mean, why I think it happens?
Sure, yeah.
All right. I think on the way to the challenge, that
the gutter truck gets blown up.
On the way to the challenge, the boat on which the entire Gota tribe was riding is attacked by that whale shark.
He's looking for scooping.
Season, and it's capsized, and so they have to swim 3 miles in the water to the challenge. And when they get there, they're so confident that they'll still beat Bacall that they agree to do the challenge, but they still lose at the very last minute because it was still close.
They still kept it close.
But anyway, Bacall wins the reward challenge this week. That's my crazy theory. There you go.
But it didn't inspire you enough to put points on Bacall to win the immunity challenge?
It's a crazy theory. It ain't what I think's going to happen. So we're all good there. Oh, man. All right, man. Hey, we want to thank you all for downloading and listening to our show each week. You could be listening to lots of shows, and some of you do, but some of you are limited on time, and you listen to ours, and we really want to thank you for that. Even twice a week, some of you listen to both shows. Whether you're subscribed via iTunes or whether you have us in your favorites list on Stitcher, we really appreciate that you listen.
And thanks for shopping at Amazon by using our link, which you can find on Facebook and on our website. We greatly appreciate it.
Yep. Always the top post on Facebook, and of course there's a tab on our website. If you want to follow us on Twitter, @Survivor_talk. And if you want to talk Survivor 7 days a week, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/Survivor Talk. Yep. Any final words, David?
No, but I do want to reemphasize what Enrico said, in that I agree with him that this was the transition to Act 2. This wasn't necessarily the start of Act 2, but I think this was a good transition into the Act 2 of this season.
Because at the end of the recap show, you said, no, but I would like to say Act 2 has begun.
Oh.
And this time
begun now.
And this time you said, no, but I would like to say this is the transition to Act 2.
That's right.
All right. Music for tonight's show is Giving You All Control by Jeremy Camp. And again, thanks for listening. That's all I got. How about you, Dave?
I'm good.
All right. See you, everybody.
See ya.
Scattered all around. It seems that every time I